For more on the reopening of theme parks, CGTN's Rachelle Akuffo spoke to Eddie Sotto, who's a former Disney Imagineer. What's that? An Imagineer, you may be asking? Well, Sotto starts off by explaining.
An Imagineer is someone who creates these theme park attractions and works with the best in the world to bring them to life. So in my estimation, where you always begin is, what do people dream of? What do they want to escape from in their daily lives they can't do at home, to pay those prices to come into a theme park? And in many cases, to be a child again, whether you're a parent or a kid, that's usually what unites people. It's moments. It's actually creating magical moments and going from moment to moment throughout your day in that theme park.
I love that. I love that it's, that bringing that childhood back, because goodness knows, especially now, we could all use that. So then,
Oh, yeah.
what were your initial thoughts then when you saw the park starting to close this year and wondering how long it would last? What sort of conversations were you having?
Conversations. I was terrified because I saw, an experience which is very delicate. All the details, these moments are not just something that happens. Creating a world that is an escape and then putting people, characters into it. All of this is psychological. People come to be reassured, to forget. So when you start putting a hospital, bringing hospital practices where, frankly, forget the architecture. It's the smile of the cast member. It's you seeing your little daughter smile when she sees the princess. When you put a mask over there, how great is that for all that money? It just doesn't work. They're destroying it. It's kind of like being a movie director, and then suddenly the director's cut is over and the studio throws out the original version, your intent, and then changes it to a place where people are suspicious of each other. Are you wearing a mask? Why, don't get too close. Suddenly that escape is captivated, is kidnapped by hospital practices. And people don't feel carefree. They keep remembering the world they were trying to leave. So that concerned me. I thought, what can I do with my skills right now? This is going back to March, and say, what do I do with my skills? We need to think long term, like why people go back to a theme park, and future-proof theme parks, and do something maybe at the gate. Screen people at the gate so when they come in, they don't have to wear a mask. Raise the level of safety. That would be hard, right? Raise that level of safety to a level that people can just enjoy it. They're not even in this world anymore. They're just enjoying it.
And we know that's certainly a tall order. I mean, we know that the CDC guidelines do keep getting updated all the time in terms of mask usage, and then depending on vaccines and sort of the amount of people that can be in a crowd, indoor versus outdoor. Talk about the challenges of really balancing some of these recommendations, and what's really the best way to address. How do you future-proof it and make it still be its own little world?
Well, I don't envy operators, Rachelle, because operators, I mean, if the president says, well, you don't have to wear your mask if you're vaccinated. So if people are walking around a theme park, do you really want to be like policemen and pull people over to find out and have them see a card or begin to do that? That suddenly destroys everything. Mask versus no mask. You just want to have fun. So operators, even vaccination doesn't necessarily mean that you're not contagious, or children that are now going to school, which are great mixing pots, and then they could bring something into a park. They're not going to all be vaccinated, but they must wear a mask. Even I think at Disneyland, it's like if you're over 3, you must wear these things. I don't envy that, because knowing how to really protect people and create that reassuring environment just gets harder, frankly. And I think there's a rush to the cure. People, they just want to kind of pretend it's all going to be okay and throw it away. So what if there was a way to screen people without it being, swabs in your nose and friction and things? Just like security. For example, an airport screens for terror. And now, Rachelle, you don't sit there and look at every passenger on the plane. You feel safe, right? How do we bring an airport process that's really safe and people feel good about it, and apply that? So what we've been doing is I've created a website called Future Proof Experiences, where all we do is look for the very best technical solutions that are emerging and are going to be applied, like let's say this year, to using digital technology to scan your breath and see anything, even variants in your breath, within 60 seconds or almost instantly while your bag is being looked at. You just walk in. You just
And that's a game changer. As you mentioned, it's a question
Well,
of trust.
it is. And
Trust.
and a company we're working with, it's on this website, Future Proof Experiences, has developed, and they won an X Prize for this, an emerging technology, and several companies, not just them, have won different awards for different approaches to screening. And I believe that this is what will solve the operator's problem. You will look at me and say, well, he just went through it and he looks okay. And now I'm not looking at you with suspicion. See, this is what theme parks do, is everyone from everywhere shares an experience. It's a small world, right? A smile brings friendship to everyone. You can't kill that. You can't have us all standing on dots, doing an app to get into a restaurant.